Welcome back to Nightly Nonsense, where we make some sense out of the nonsense all around. We're in Proverbs chapter 6, looking at the 7 deadly sins, right? And I've done this whole preface up to it, right? Now I want to read those verses to you, and I'm going to break this up into 2 nights and just give you some thoughts on this, right? So, verse 16, there are 6 things that the Lord hates, 7 that are an abomination to him: haughty eyes, right? A lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that devises wicked plans, feet that make haste to run to evil, a false witness who breathes out lies, and one who sows discord among brothers. First of all, I want you to look at this, and I want you to look at this and go, well, wow, we're so fired up about Pride Month and things like that as Christians, but all of these things are way below, right? Meaning, these are the things that get you to the place where you don't want to be, where the actions are happening. The first one, the haughty eyes, right? The pride, right? That's what fight people are going to use all in the month of June, right? The pride. God's against pride. Again, I just spent a whole thing about we should be proud of being Christ followers, but we're not to be proud people in who we are, right? We're not to stand up, shake our fist to God and say, hey, we're something when we're not, right? We're constantly to put ourselves in perspective, right? It's not you versus your neighbor, it's you versus God, and you lose 100 out of 100 times, all the time. You will never, ever win that comparison. You don't get to compare yourself to the person sitting next to you, standing next to you, living next to you, working next to you, being next to you in church. That's not the comparison. Great. So you're a better person according to you, right? To the person sitting next to you. But to God, neither of you are God. Neither of you are godly. Neither of you are righteous. There's not one that's righteous, is what the Bible tells us. So be really careful. Pride, right? The pride of life, that's what starts. We start being proud of what we have. We start being really proud of our kids are better than any kids. What's happening here is better than is attached to everything. My house is better than, my clothes are better than, my car is better than, my jobs are better than, right? I am better than, right? I am better than all these other people. I am better than what's going on around. So you could stop right there and say, guess what? That's at the root of all these causes that we're out that we don't like. So you name the cause, right? Somewhere embedded in the cause is this: we are better than, or we need to be looked at as better than, right? We talk about it being equal, but come on, it's not equal. Because we're looking at things and we want reparations for one side, but we're not talking about that for another side. Well, they're not the same. They are the same people. If one group of people deserves reparations for something, why doesn't everybody deserve reparations? Where are the Native Americans in all of this? Where is everybody else? No, it's a pride thing. I want people to acknowledge where I am in life, who I am in life, what I'm doing in life, and I want it to be tangible. So it's not enough to get a month. It's not enough to get a day. It's not enough to get recognized. I got to have more, right? That's haughty eyes. I need more. Because of who I am. I'm simply better. If our politicians would take this to heart, they'd be serving us and not thinking that it's our job to serve them. That's where it goes awry. Christianity is about serving other people. Haughty eyes have you thinking other people should serve you. So it starts there, right? It starts right there. Are you somebody that thinks that other people should be serving you? Okay. If you are, you're going to be asking everybody for a month. You're going to be asking everybody for raises all the time. You're going to be asking everybody to bow down and serve you. And if you're not doing it in word, you're going to be doing it in deed or in thought. Why isn't this person serving me? It's this job to serve me. I'm paying for them to serve me. You're paying for a service, that's true. But you don't own the person serving you. So how they do it, that's up to you. You can decide how you reward them or any of those things. But when you look at somebody and decide, you didn't serve me well enough, that's the beginning of pride. Be really careful about that. When's the last time you walked into a restaurant or something and said, this person didn't serve me well enough? Right? That's not what the Bible talks about. The Bible doesn't talk about people have to serve you well enough. It talks about you have to serve other people. So how are you serving the person serving you is what the Bible talks about. We don't like this conversation. I'm paying for somebody to serve me, right? And as a Christian, in that exact same moment, you have to serve them. Not because somebody's paying you, because God demands it. He goes on, right? And says, hands that shed innocent blood. Let me make this clear, right? This isn't just, right, simply about actual physical murder. This is about the words that you use. How many times have you shed innocent blood? You've destroyed somebody you don't know. You're declaring that they are guilty. You're declaring that they owe, that you're declaring, and you have no idea. This is the blanket thing we do all the time. Everybody is bad. Everybody, not everybody thinks the same way as everybody. Don't categorize people. So sometimes you're shedding innocent blood because you're saying all of these people are bad. All of these people think this way. That's a bad place to be, right? God detests that. When you start clumping and lumping everybody together, and because of your one experience here, all of these places are bad, right? Listen, again, this is complicated in nature because we love to boycott big industries. But you know what? Not everybody in the big industry is bad. Not everybody is bad. God declared judgment on Sodom and Gomorrah. And Abraham pleaded for righteous people. And Lot and his family were good. They got pulled out. Not because of them, but because of Abraham. Right? But they got pulled out from it. So before you go boycotting and looking, you might want to ask God if that's what you're supposed to be doing. Because maybe you're shedding innocent blood. I can't wait for the comments about this, right? You think that God's up in heaven telling you to boycott. You know who would be boycotting you? Judge and condemn. There are times where, we withhold things from people who aren't doing the things that we, right, as Christians are commanded to do. Not that you think they should be doing, but that God commands to do. I'm not going to support people who do certain things, but be really careful in the broader sense. You're not just lumping everybody as a bad person because they work at this place. Man, imagine what would happen if we did that at churches. You don't got bad people in your churches. Do you want people to just lump everybody together? You want everybody in your church? Is everybody in your church bad because you've had one person who decides to be bad? You know, the enemy plants people in churches, right? It's not the church's necessarily fault. The enemy sends people. It's your fault if you don't recognize that. God's not tuning you into it, right? So we got to be really careful. Let me finish this, right? Haughty eyes, a lying tongue, right, is in there. Right? People who have a lifestyle of lying, right? Being caught in a moment where you're trying to figure out how to save yourself, that doesn't mean that you have a lying tongue. That means that you lied at one moment. A lying tongue is you purposefully over and over and over lying to save yourself. God doesn't ask you to save yourself. He doesn't ask you to pump yourself up. Do you know that there are people who are totally disqualified for jobs who go in, sit, tell the truth, and get hired? God can move hearts. He doesn't need you to come up with a resume of stuff that's not you for any reason. If you have to lie to somebody to get somebody, then you have a problem. If you have to lie to somebody to keep somebody, then you have a problem. I said that's how it starts going off track, is you start having to cover for yourself. That's not where you want to be, right? It's not Abraham's half lies that kept him and Sarah safe. It's God's protection that kept them safe. Not Jacob's lies that kept him safe, got him. It was God who did these things. So there's a lot to chew on right there. I hope that you spend a few minutes, that you think about haughty eyes, right? Lying tongue and innocent blood. Ask God right now. Ask God, are you guilty of any of those? Has your way become crooked because of any of those things. Chew on that. We'll see you next time. Nightly Nonsense.